for people that aren't aware of the Double D Award, what do you think it's all about, and where do you think you fit in amongst all this?
I feel extremely honored to be a part of getting a Double D Award. It's I've always considered myself a pretty decent athlete, but not a phenomenal athlete. But at Drake, to me, it was just the best time of my life. So to be able to come back and get a award for being a part of this university and everything it had to offer, I'm just extremely, extremely honored.
What's your biggest memory here?
My biggest memory that I can talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably when we made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time. Drake really wasn't on the map softball-wise until my freshman year. We just had a phenomenal team, an incredible group of women, and we went on and upset a lot of people and made it to the NCAA tournament. And that was probably my best memory here at Drake.
Is it nice to be kind of part of that Drake athletic tradition? It's not a Big 12 or Big 10 school, but it seems like there's quite a few Drake studs out there.
There are quite a few Drake studs. To me, it's weird on a Sunday because I can turn on the TV and I could watch the NFL, and I could watch a phenomenal kicker, or I can flip the channel and I can watch Zach playing golf. So to me, it's difficult sometimes to choose which one I'm going to watch. So it's pretty neat how Drake has really evolved over the last few years. It's phenomenal. And I can watch the Iowa caucus here, and I could see Drake's name in the background, and I could watch Man vs. Food, and I saw the Adam Emenicker challenge on Food Network, and I was like floored. The Drake relays, everybody knows about it. And when I was telling some of my coworkers I was going back to Drake, they all said, "You've got to go back to Drake and get me a Drake relays," because everyone loves Drake relays. So I'm proud to be from here, and it really was the best time of my life. And it's just a phenomenal place, and I'm excited to be a part of this family.
Well, it's just a great honor, and I'm so proud of it, and like I said, I graduated, 51 years ago, and, to have this honor is tremendous.
What kind of experiences from your days at Drake do you think you drew on during your professional career?
It was great. I mean, it was my start. Drake stayed with me, and I played freshman football, and I was on the varsity baseball team, and it got me started as far as coaching.
Did you do some coaching here also, or no?
Just
okay.
As far as prepared me for coaching.
What did you learn here that you've kind of used in your experience coaching today?
Oh, when I was here, the Assemble team was here. Maury John took over the basketball program, and Drake Athletics, just like now, they made some gigantic jumps and great competition and great athletes. So
most people will think of you as a football coach, but what do you tell them about the baseball career?
When I was at Drake, that's the number one thing I wanted to do, coach baseball. I never have. I have coached track and basketball, and of course football for 51 years.
How does it feel to come back and get honored for the baseball side of it too?
Well, great. I mean, it's exciting to me, and like I said, I was surprised, and it's a very nice honor.
Were you a decent ball player back in the day?
No, not really.
What position did you play?
It just depends who was pitching.
Yeah.
I played the outfield.
Okay.
Yeah, we played at Sec Taylor, which is now Principal Park, redone. And our division of the Missouri Valley was St. Louis, Bradley, Cincinnati, and Drake. So
where does this accomplishment rank in your life?
Very high. And of course I have to thank all the people that I've been able to associate with, whether it's my players, our communities, and so forth and so on. To make everything possible.
You're back at Drake, and they're honoring you tonight. And so, what's that mean to you?
It's exciting to be back at Drake. Obviously, I've got a lot of fond memories of my time here, and to be put in such company as the people tonight with the Double D Award, and look at all the past winners, and obviously you said look to last year with Zach Johnson. So it's nice, and it's an honor, and it's a privilege.
What I guess for those of us who weren't aware of your career at Harlan and Drake, I wonder if you could just walk us through it, what it was like playing in a small town like Harlan, and what it was like playing at Drake.
Well, you have to, if you think about my career before I got to the NFL, I wanted to be a basketball player, first and foremost. So my time growing up, I played a lot of basketball, and the town that I grew up in Harlan, they're really successful in football.
Yeah.
So we had 2 years where we won a state championship. That was my sophomore year where I just was a kicker. My senior year was quarterback and kicker as well. My junior year, we failed to make the championship game, so we quote unquote choked. That's how much the expectations were in Harlan.
Yeah.
But it was something that you really you grabbed onto and you embraced it because that was just part of the mentality. So then I tried to decide where I want to go to college, and I wanted to go to Iowa Central Community College. I was going to do both sports there, and there was a drive-by shooting that summer on campus. So my parents discouraged me from going there, and Kirk Kanaski was recruiting me to walk on essentially, and then it shows you what he thought of my basketball ability when Coach Ash asked if I could play football, and he said, "Oh, for sure, Billy can go play football." And yeah, he obviously wasn't high on his priority list. So then I got to Drake, and I wanted to play quarterback, and then Coach Ash convinced me that since our kicker transferred, that I should kick first, and maybe eventually I get to quarterbacking. So everything kind of just happened. I like to tell people that my parents kind of groomed me to be a basketball player, but God made me a kicker. Like, you can't really get away from it, but that's the trajectory I've been on. And I think when I got here to Drake, I really grew up not only as an individual but as an athlete. So it was fun, my time here, especially in the environment that we had for football, where you don't really have the following that you do when you're at University of Iowa or Iowa State. So I was able to make all my mistakes on the field, and I was able to grow up on the field. So through that test, I became better, and so by the time I was a junior, I had my best season. I was an All-American even for non-scholarship and scholarship football. I started to attract some attention of some scouts in the NFL, and at that time, it started to become apparent that I possibly could play in the NFL. Before then, it was not really even a dream because I never really took kicking that seriously. It was kind of something that I did. Again, I wanted to play basketball, and I just enjoyed getting my teeth kicked in and trying to get some minutes on the basketball court. And then eventually, when it started to show itself out that wasn't going to be an option, I should probably focus on football, and that's what we did last year.
Is it now? I might be stretching a little bit here, but you talked a little bit about Harlan and how the expectations there are so high. Did that help as you were kind of going from this undrafted guy to being in the NFL and all that adversity? The fact that when you were back in high school, I mean, the pressure was already really high.
Well, yeah, I think that the environment that I grew up in helped me to create a quick perspective on things, like when things would happen. I'd always kind of think, well, as our football coach would always say, that there's a couple million people in China that don't care about the outcome of the game. And kind of put it in perspective that when it's all said and done, in 100 years from now, no one will probably even remember the outcome of the game. But with that said, that doesn't mean that we're not going to play hard. We're not going to try to win. In fact, the one thing I think that was unique about Harlan is that the coach never really talked about winning. Like, we just talked about playing the best we could, and as he would say, you let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's the attitude I've taken when I've gotten in the NFL, that I know I'm going to fail, and I know I'm going to have some success. I'm going to put my best effort out there. Sometimes it's not going to be good enough. Sometimes it's going to be more than enough. But at the end of the day, can I look myself in the mirror and say that I did the best I could? And if that's the case, then I know that I can't really do any more than that.
And I'm assuming then that experience made it a lot easier to get over missing that kick in New England.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, as I can look at my playoff experience now, I've only missed 2 field goals, and that's in the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game. So I've had a lot of success, and you look at it, 12 of 14, I think, on field goals, the 2 of them being in the championship game. So eventually, I'd like to believe we're going to be back there, and with these kind of things, you feel like you can learn from, and it makes you better. And I had a lot of those experiences early in my time in Dallas, where I missed some big kicks, but I also came back to make some big kicks. So as you start to get older, you start to realize that if you can grow, then it was a worthwhile experience. A very tough pill to swallow, but I think it's something that makes you better, and that's how I view the kind of events that happen in New England.